Hey there, thank you for joining me for today's practice. My name is Paula. Today's sequence is for the feet and ankles, so we're going to do a little bit of work just to bring a bit of openness, sensitivity to the feet, as well as do a bit of strengthening work through the ankles. And so I guess, we don't often think about our feet, but it's lovely to give them a bit of attention. So make sure you're nice and comfortable. And we're going to start standing. So just coming towards the top edge of your mat, just give yourself a bit of space and separate the feet hip distance apart and start by looking down at your feet. You want to keep the toes tracking forward if you can. So we're thinking about the feet being parallel, ankles directly underneath the center of the hip bones. And then let's lift up all 10 toes and then place them down deliberately, creating a little bit of space in between the toes, each toe as much as you can here. And then just bringing the head back upright, bringing the palms of the hands together in front of the chest into your prayer position, just letting the elbows relax in. And if it feels comfortable to do so, closing down the eyes. Just feeling the weight dropping down into the feet. That's particularly the base of the big toe, base of the little toe, the outside edge of the heel and the inner edge of the heel. And then imagining where your arches are and thinking about lifting up through those arches. And then noticing what's happening with your legs. So sometimes we start to lock out in the backs of the knees. You want to engage the quadriceps slightly, but a tiny little micro bend through those knees. So long through the legs, pressing down through the feet, just letting the tailbone drop down and having a sense of lengthening up through the spine, through the front of the body, all the way up through the crown of the head. So now we have that direction of grounding down through the soles of the feet and energy drawing up and out through the crown of the head. Allowing the face to be soft and the shoulders soft. And now we're going to do a little bit of work shifting the weight just very subtly around the feet. If you need to open your eyes, then please feel free to open your eyes. If it feels okay to keep your eyes closed, you can do that. We're going to start to let the weight shift slightly over to the right, feeling it go over to the right edge of the out of the right foot, and then shifting the weight back through center, transferring it over to the left, feeling the weight pour into the outer edge of that left foot, and then shifting the weight through center, coming over to the outer edge of the right foot, through center, and shifting over to the outer edge of that left foot, and then finding center. And then allowing the weight to shift slightly forward into the feet, and then allowing the weight to shift back, finding a little bit more weight into the heels, and then allowing the weight to shift forward, and allowing the weight to shift back. Check in with your breathing, keeping it open, and just another few times, just forward and back. And then finding somewhere in between. Just reconnecting with those 4 points of the soles of the feet, pressing down as you lift up, finding your breath, slowing down the inhale, slowing down the exhale. Let's open up through the eyes, releasing the arms down the side. Take the arms out to the side, take a big inhale. Palms, hands come together, look to the thumbs, exhale to draw the hands down through the center line. 2 more like that, pressing down through the feet. Imagine you're gathering energy, bringing the palms, hands together. Exhale to draw the hands down through the center, drawing that energy in. 1 more time, inhaling. And then exhaling. Letting the hands stay at the center of the chest. And we're going to start to take some deep bend through the legs. So as you bend down, the knees track over towards that second toe. Allow the torso to shift forward as if you're coming into your chair pose. Press down through the feet to lengthen up. Inhale, and then exhale to bend, knees tracking towards that second toe, and press down through the feet to grow up. And again, bend and press down through the feet to grow up. And just notice what's happening with your toes. Do they end up scrunching up, or does anything else happen? Don't worry if they are doing something that you're not quite in control of, but we're just checking in. We'll just go 2 more times like this, and then 1 more time like this. Let's take the hands to the waist. Similar action, but we're going to lift up onto the ball of the right foot. So lifting that right heel up and then placing it back down. Lifting the left heel up and placing it back down. Keep the toes long as you lift the heel up, and then think about deliberately placing that sole of the foot down. Lifting that left heel up and then placing it down. And again, check in with the breath. And then again. We'll just go 2 more. 2 and 1. And placing it down. Bring the feet together side by side now. And let's bring the palms of the hands back in front of the chest. And then rising up onto the balls of the feet, drawing the quadriceps up, let the tailbone drop down, and then lowering the heels slowly back down. Take an inhale, ground down through the balls of the feet, reach the crown of the head up, and then exhale to lower back down. 1 more time, inhale to rise up. Let's hold it here for a couple of breaths. Steady gaze. Keep breathing. Taking 1 more inhale, and then lowering the heels back down. Just open the feet out, hip distance apart again. Bring the hands to the waist. Letting the weight pour into that left leg as you lift the right knee up towards the chest. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bend into this left leg. Take that right foot back, come onto the ball of the right foot. And then we're going to bring that right knee back in towards the chest. Inhale. And then exhale, bend into that left knee, track it towards that second toe, right foot reaches back, and let's add in extending the arms up if that feels okay for you. And then bring that right knee in. Just draw the elbows in towards the sides of the body, and then take that right leg back, extend the arms up. 1 more time. Inhaling, draw that left quadricep up, and then exhale, take that right leg back, reaching the arms up, taking an inhale, and then let's keep the legs exactly as they are, and just bring the hands to the waist, trying to keep both hip bones level here. We're lifting that right heel up for the moment, but let's start to reach that right heel down, so taking a bit more of a stretch through the back of the right calf. Relax the shoulders, back of the neck long. Keep breathing. And then taking an inhale, come back. Both feet hip distance apart. Just keeping the hands at the waist. Letting the weight pour into that right foot. Lifting that left leg up, inhale. And then take an exhale, bend into this right knee. Right knee tracking towards that second toe. Reach that left foot back onto the ball of the left foot. And then coming back into this crane variation, lifting that left knee up, and then taking that left leg back, reaching the arms up alongside the ears, and then exhale, draw the right quadricep up to lift the left knee in, and then bending into this right leg, reach that left foot back. And again, inhale, and this is the last one. Exhale. Bring the arms down by your side, bring the hands to the waist, just using your hands to feel into the hips, trying to keep them level here. Lifting that left heel up for a moment, and then starting to reach that left heel down. Opening up through the back of that left calf now. Keep drawing that right hip a little bit further back, that right hip crease I should say, rather than letting that hip go forward. Just 1 more full breath. And then shifting back to the front of the mat with both feet. Release the arms down by your side. Take the arms out to the side, all the way up, look towards the thumbs, inhale, and then exhale, forward fold into your Uttanasana. Feeling free to bend through the knees here, letting the back of the neck relax. Take an inhale into your halfway lift, hands can come to the shins, and then exhale, fold. Bend the knees, step back into down facing dog. Spreading into the hands. And if your knees need to be a little bit bent here, then feel free to do that. But if you can, trying to engage the quadriceps without locking out through the backs of the knees. And then starting to take a pedal out through the feet. And because you can see your feet quite clearly in this position, just being really mindful, trying to keep the toes long. Noticing how the weight shifts from one foot to the other. And then lowering both heels back down. And just for a couple of breaths here, we're holding stillness. See if you can press down through the outer edges of the feet, keeping the toes relaxed. Armpits wrapping into face one another. Lengthen out through both sides of the waist. Hips pressing up towards the ceiling. One more full breath. And then looking forward towards the hands, coming down onto one knee and then the other, sitting over to one side, extending the legs out in front of you. Just taking a moment here, making sure you're right up on your sitting bones. Let's keep feet hip distance apart here as well, pressing down through the backs of the thighs, flexing through the feet and pressing down through the hands. Just taking a moment here in our Dandasana position. And then we're going to start working through flexing and pointing through the feet. An option here to pop your hands onto the soles of the feet. If that doesn't work for you, then just stay upright. You might come a little bit forward and work with the flexing and pointing, or you might be all the way upright. Just see how it feels for you. If it's available, placing the palms of the hands onto the soles of the feet. Take a moment here, let the shoulders relax. And then we're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, press the ball of the right foot into the right hand, and then inhale to release. Exhale, press into the left hand, and then inhale to release. And again, press into the right hand and release. Press into the left and release. And again. And if you aren't holding your foot, you might come into a bit more of a point with your foot than if you're holding onto the feet. It's a little bit trickier. So just keep going. Just try to stay connected to the breathing. We're just going to go 3 more. 3 and 2 and 1. If you're holding onto the feet, just release the hands down by your side. Everyone, just lengthening out through the spine. Take an inhale and then exhale, coming forward into your forward fold. And you can let the feet just relax a little bit here. Just for a couple of breaths. Then taking an inhale to come back upright, making your way down onto your back. Just allowing the upper back to rest down. Just feet hip distance apart, knees bent for a moment. And then let's take the knees and the feet all the way up towards the ceiling, flexing the feet towards the face. And we're going to take some ankle circles. So feet going outwards or circling outwards. Trying to make as large a circle as you can. Check in with your breathing. Notice what's happening there. Just keeping it open. And changing the direction of the circle when you're ready. last few here. And then resting back into the center, keeping the feet flexed just for a little bit longer, heels above the hips. We're going to take a bend, take an inhale, and then exhale. Imagine you're pressing something away to point through the feet and straighten the legs. Inhale to bend, and exhale, straighten, point, inhale to bend, and exhale, point to straighten, and again, and straighten. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll go 3 more. And 2. And 1. And just letting the legs just relax, bringing the knees down. Just give the legs a little bit of a shake out here. Placing the feet down. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop open. Just coming into your Supta Baddha Konasana just before we take Shavasana. Letting the knees open. Just feeling into those feet once again. Just noticing what edge of the feet are in contact with each other. And then just allowing that attention to come to the rest of the body as well. The back of the pelvis that's pressing down, the upper back, middle back, backs of the arms, back of the head, maybe closing down the eyes. And whenever you're ready, extending the legs out into your Shavasana. Just allowing the legs and the feet to fall away from one another. Just having a sense of the whole body letting go now. Just allowing yourself to come to rest for the next few minutes. Please feel free to stay resting here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time. Namaste.